Hello, this is the final uh, part 4 lecture for the introduction to pension accounting, and we're going to apply some of what we've learned. So this is a basic type problem. So part 1, pension asset or liability. So we refer to the net funded status, and the plan assets are 613,480. So the assets, the plan assets, and the PBO, which is GAAP's measure of the obligation. Let's see, PBO, that came out a little too crazy. PBO is 737,400. So definitely looks like it's underfunded, so it's going to be a pension liability for sure. Okay, and so when you total all of that up, let me see, 123,920. So you have, pull this back to full screen. So it's going to be that's better. There we go. So we have a pension asset liability account. And what this is saying is we started the year with a liability of 123,920. Okay. So the second question is, what is pension expense? And we learned our 5 components. I'm going to put them in a little different order. But service, interest cost, service cost, interest cost, or interest on the liability. I like to do amortization of prior service costs next. Amortization of prior service costs. And 4 is the actual return. And 5 is the gain or loss, but we're not going to deal with that one here. Let's see if I remember correctly. All right. And this is going to be total them up, add them up, pension expense. So let's go back up to our table. Service cost, add it. Service cost, positive. Interest cost, positive. Amortization, prior service cost, positive. So this is why I like to do these 3 in a row, because they're positive, positive, positive. And then the other ones could be plus or minus. So service cost is 60,000. Interest cost is 66,000. These are all given to us by these 2 are given to us by the actuary. So I will say that, whoops, that's a little. These are from, I'll just put ACT for, or I guess that might get confused with accountant. Actuary gives us these 2. We just get the numbers. Amortization of prior service cost, 17,000 plus, plus, plus. This is an accounting number. All right, now the annual return, and since it equals expected, so there's no gain or loss. So this is never happens in the real world, but because the actual expected equal, the gain or loss is 0. So positive actual return. So what did we say? If it's a positive actual return, it's going to decrease pension expense. So actually, let me put that in parentheses just to use our accounting format. So minus 61,000. Okay. And you total that all up, and it looks like I've got 82,000 in pension expense. 82,000. All right, now let me also point out, here's the contribution, and also called the funding payment. I use that term. in one of the lectures. This is the actual cash payment to the pension plan the corporation is making. Notice that's not the pension expense. So we're doing just a massive accrual for our adjusting entry here in terms of the massive accrual in terms of the work we have to do. So we have to take all these components from the actuary, and then we do this little amortization of prior service cost calculation, not shown, we just got the number. But so this is just showing you in substance or conceptually, this is really somewhat complicated, but the rules are so clear cut, you know, they're just definitive that you just have to follow the rules to get the number, okay? We'll talk more about what it means, but the first thing you have to do is be able to just calculate the number, which is 82,000, all right? So let's put this all together in a journal entry. This is the pension expense adjusting journal entry. Okay. So FY01 year end. So we'll have pension expense, which we just calculated. 82,000. We're going to have our funding payment, the cash payment. I'm going to put that down here so we have room for debits and credits. Remember, debits go first. To scroll back up, what was our benefit, our funding payment, or contribution, same thing, 57,000. Amortization of prior service costs. Now, there's no account called amortization, but what amortization means is a reduction in the OCI prior service cost. So we'll just say AOCI, or you could say OCI, but we'll say AOCI prior service costs. Okay, 17,000. So we have our pension expense, which we calculated, our cash, which was given, we have our OCI prior service cost, and if you put them all together, this is the plug number. All right, that's our plug number there, 8,000. This goes to pension asset / liability. All right. So if I go up here and I post it, it's an $8,000 credit. Then we have an ending balance. Here's the 12/31 FY01 balance. So they would end the year with a pension liability of 131,920, and they would have recorded pension expense in the amount of 82,000. All right, so that's a basic type of pension problem without the asset gain or loss, without the liability gain or loss, without the quarter amortization, which are the three more tricky parts. But it's so highly structured, you get this information, you just do exactly what the rules say and the number comes out pretty readily. So that's the end of this introduction to pension accounting, and it's combined with assurance of learning quizzes. So just make sure you get over 80% on those quizzes, and you're good to go for our next class.